Everybody, please rise for the pledge of allegiance, followed by the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Williams, will you please lead us in the prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have granted us. Father, thank you for the rain you have bestowed on Mills County. Father, guide us and direct us in all our actions today as we do the business of Mills County. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, amen to that rain. It's very good. And cooler weather. Okay, number two, review and act on minutes of September 5th and September 9th of 2024. Commissioners, are there any things we need to change or comment on?
I wasn't at the fifth meeting, so we might want to take them separately.
Okay,
Judge.
okay.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes for the fifth as written.
Okay, motion's been made to approve the minutes. The second has been made by Commissioner Parton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? One abstention. Okay,
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from September the 9th.
I'll second that motion. All those in favor of approving the minutes September the 9th, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number three, audience of individuals. Anybody here to speak today? Okay. Moving on to number four, consider an act on approving accounts payable. Commissioners, you check your accounts payables package and go through that.
The only question I have, I guess, is on Mike on precinct 1, old iron dirt work,
Correct?
$10 a cubic yard.
Yes, sir.
He charged me $9 a cubic yard.
I understand.
What's the difference there? Didn't say.
Didn't say. He said it had to go up and he's charging $10 a yard now. And he's the way to charge the rest of it too, except I don't know if one of them had $9.
Yeah, that's me. I'm just curious.
Yeah, had precinct 3 charging him $10. So I don't know. He just told me when I approached him, said he had to go up $10 a yard.
Mine is for the whole year.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the only difference is maybe y'all's first.
I don't know. He just said $10 a yard. Do you have a reason for it, Dale, to you?
Better increase the expenses.
Yeah, he just told me everything's going up.
That's all I was curious about.
Make a motion, we approve the accounts payable as presented.
I second it.
Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Wright, approve accounts payable, a second by Commissioner Williams. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving accounts payable, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number five, consider an act on burn ban. Well, Commissioners, as you well know, I consulted with our 4 fire chiefs Friday afternoon. It was about 98 degrees. All 4 were in agreement and putting the burn ban back on. Thus called them this morning about 7:30. And with the rain, they're all for leaving it as is, no burn ban. So the rain's been good. The southern part of the county still didn't get much. Commissioners, y'all have any comments?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm good about leaving it off.
yeah, I am too. Commissioners, anything else?
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, okay. And we don't have to, by leaving it off, we don't have to do anything, Gerald, right?
Right.
Off now.
It's all, yes.
Yeah, you gotta take affirmative action to put it on.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so Commissioners will leave the burn ban off and hope the rains keep coming along with the cooler weather. Okay, number 6, consider an act on line item budget amendments. County treasurers have a few things. Again, we're moving some line items, transfers over in your package. Any questions or comments on those?
Make a motion to approve the budget amendments as presented.
Okay, motion been made by Commissioner Wright, approve the line item budget amendments as presented.
Second.
And second's been made by Commissioner Head. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the line item budget amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 7, consider an act on approving a surety bond for Deputy Clerk Shawnee Martinez. Normal deal, we do these by every other month, and I'll make a motion, we approve the surety bond for Shawnee Martinez.
Second.
Second been made by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the surety bond for Shawnee Martinez, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 8, consider an act on Mills County Appraisal District adopted budget for 2025. Mr. Brandon Greavy is here for the appraisal district to answer whatever questions we might have. To set this up, guys, first off, you know, they came to us back in May or June. We did not approve their budget. Since then, they've hired 2 prospective employees, chief appraiser, interim chief appraiser, along with the ag appraiser. And thus, that's why they've come back with some other budgets. Now, I originally talked to Lori Friedrich. She was supposed to be here today, but she had classes somewhere, training somewhere. Then I talked to Jed Guerin. He was supposed to be here, but he found out he had a doctor's appointment. Then I talked to Clint Patrick, and Clint's got business in Landover today. So Brandon is a representative by default for all the deals. And Brandon,
Fourth George.
what's that?
Fourth George.
Fourth choice, yeah.
Just keep going down the chain, don't it?
And Brandon, of course, I told her I can speak on behalf of Commissioners Court, but for us to change our budget, any amendments, whatnot, it's just a tough deal. I don't want to do anything like that. You know, I'll let other commissioners speak, but I can't see us doing anything on improving the MCAT budget right now.
So I think all the school districts have improved their budgets too, so how is this gonna work?
I don't know. They'll go to all their different entities. I don't know. Brandon, you want to come up? Do you know any information on
I
the
don't know
entities?
how that works, change budgets that are set.
If you don't come to the microphone, Brandon, speak. I don't know what the status, they're going to the schools right now. I don't know if even the schools have done anything or not.
Yeah, I can't, what I can speak to is our last board meeting that I was present at. You know, I've been on the board for nearly 2 years. We have not had a chief appraiser since I've been on the board. We've hired one, who, you know, was not trained and had certifications and so she went, you know, with this for a few months and then she resigned. We lost Cody, who was our chief appraiser because of money. I mean, it was pretty simple. She went to Hamilton, I believe, because they paid her $5 more than we could pay. We had, you know, 2 people on staff, so we've been short. When I first came on the board, we had 4 employees at the appraisal district. We now have 2, and we're just short staffed. And we've been trying to hire somebody for a couple of years. You know, we keep asking the question, well, how much money do we have in our budget to hire somebody? And the simple answer is, we don't have enough budgeting to make it work. If we're gonna get competitive and hire somebody, we're gonna have to increase our budget. So that was our last meeting. It was pretty simple. We needed to increase our budget. I believe it was about 40,000 for next year to hire these 2 positions. Part of the reason why we still have to increase that, now the budget increase will only be, it'll only be relevant the first year, because we have to continue to keep on our contract, Lori, because she's got all the credentials. So once the people that we hire are trained and have their certifications, and chief will have a year to do that, then we don't have to have our contract. So then the budget would go back down. So it's a 1-year thing that we're trying to do. That's.
And hopefully is it 1 or 2 individuals prospective persons you've hired?
These are two, there's two of
Yeah.
them, and they both come from, Land Passes and, work together, so we're feeling like it'd be a good thing to do to get them hired.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for,
Jason, on our situation, can we amend our budget? We hadn't even, we voted on this.
But I would not recommend it at the beginning of a,
I think started.
of a budget year, because you don't have any idea of what your expenses are gonna be.
What I,
So you would essentially have to take that money out of your contingency line, which is the last line you touch at the end of the year. Or
But in our new,
The way I see it is that if they don't, if I remember correctly, Brandon, you might help me on this, but if they don't use all their money that's allotted to them, they give it back to the entities. The entities can vote on it to say, no, we're gonna let y'all keep it. And, you know, we've done that before in
Sure.
the past, Mike. And
Sure.
so my only thing is I don't know what's left over from last year that they're, you know, maybe we can vote and they can keep that, to use that money for that salary part of it. But I just don't know right now. I'm like Summer, if we can go in and change our budget like that. I mean,
I think.
they're gonna talk to every entity about changing their budget. They're gonna have to, because every entity's already passed their budget.
I think it's best to wait and just see how it goes. Hopefully these.
Yeah, I
come
mean.
in. Yeah,
I mean, they can set their salary and then we can do a budget amendment toward the end of the year if they need more money, correct?
Mhm,
Is that the way I got it?
yes.
I think
But
that's,
to do it right now at the beginning, I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know how that's an emergency. Because they're not out of money yet.
I think it'd be difficult. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Greedy?
The only thing I know is we could ask TAC on that. That would be unless Gerald knows any better than what I'm saying. I mean, it's kind of,
Well, generally, you can do budget amendments as long as you don't increase your overall budget. I mean, you can do a budget amendment that transfers funds from one department to another or inter-department changes or whatever. As long as it doesn't increase the total, your annual expenditure. That if you're gonna do that, it requires an emergency. So I mean, I agree, I think.
I think the best thing
We'll
is
just wait and see, I guess.
just wait till June, July, and August and see what everything looks like then. So, okay.
I agree with what Brandon's saying. I mean, we haven't been able to get anybody at that 60,000 and it looks like y'all raised it to 70, 60 to 70. Is that what
Well,
I'm reading it?
Yeah, I mean, that, it's all based on what somebody's experience is and they've got the credentials. I mean, if we lost somebody that was being paid more than what we're offering now. So, if we wanted to hire a chief right now today, I mean, I don't know that 70 or 80 would get them. I mean, that's, the reality is that people are getting paid more than that if they're a chief. So,
To me, there's something else that goes with that though, in the case that you're referring to. I know a lot of people in Hamilton County. They got our schooling and stuff with their employees. Well, yeah, they can pay her more money because Mills County is the one that paid for all the schooling. So you gotta consider that in employment too, where they're at in their schooling, or are they a certified chief appraiser? Because it's gonna cost the county money to get them all. And so, it's a tough deal and it's a pretty thankless job if you walk in there. Most people coming in there and paying their taxes, they smile.
right.
Yeah, it is a thankless job. Brandon, I'm glad you're doing civic duty down on the board with all the other board members, 9 board members, I think.
Less than that, but yeah.
7 or 9. Anyway, you all do a great job and it's a tough job and I'm glad you're looking after Mills County.
As far as like direction from the court to my office is they will send me an invoice every quarter for the amount of of our portion of the budget. Are you asking me to pay the overage or just pay what we approved? Like that's something that we'll have to,
Say what we approved.
okay, because I'll have to subtract that from the total amount they invoice us.
And then come to the end of the year, if they need more money, then.
Okay.
They also, the way I understand, the way it wasn't that. There's usually money left over, not money left over, there should be money left over because they have employees.
I'm assuming that they've used that money in their budget right now.
And Jason, that, one of the things that we talked about in our meeting was, we didn't want to get in a habit of some sort of contingency, waiting on, if we've got money left over to pay the bills, it really should be an annual budget that you can count. If we're gonna hire somebody, we want to know we've got the money to do it, and so that's why we decided to ask for this extra money, but of course, we'll make it work, however it needs to work.
Well, I mean, I'm saying that we can do that from the next year, but this year, since
Yeah.
the budget's already set,
Yeah.
that's becomes the problem.
Yeah, Brandon, we approved our budget early August.
Yeah.
And our fiscal year, as you know, starts October the 1st. Okay, any other questions for Mr. Greavy? Okay, commissioners, anybody want to make a motion to approve the Mills County Appraisal District adopted budget for 2025?
I make a motion that we do not approve the new adopted budget for Mills County Appraisal District for 2025 and leave it as first presented as in May.
Okay, so the motion is not to approve the Mills County Appraisal budget for 2025. There, a second. Second's been made by Commissioner Parton. Any other comments or discussion?
But I do have a question. We approved, just approved the budget in May.
Yeah, we already approved it once in May. And this is our new adopted budget. Don't think that makes any difference, does it, Gerald?
Well, whether you vote not to approve it or you vote to disapprove it, I don't know what makes it different. You're gonna fail to approve it.
Yeah. So we got a motion not to approve the budget, a second not to approve the budget. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of not approve the budget, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. So the budget will not be approved for 2025 budget, for an appraisal district, Brandon, but thank you for coming. And we'll be visiting with you, okay? Keep up the good work. Okay, number 9, consider an act on resolution for the clerk to manage parking restrictions for early voting on election day. Sonia, you want to come up and talk to us about that? This is regarding early voting at the Senior Citizen Center. And I think there's also music festival going that week. So go ahead, Sonia.
So early voting will start October 21st. Music Fest is October 25th and 26th. I believe in the past, the court has allowed the Music Fest to use the south parking lot of the community center. And we need to maintain that south parking lot for our early voting. I've also put in a proposal to the city to block off 5 parking places on the east side of the community center. We're required to have curbside service and we need places for our people to park. My main concern is going to be parking. I think people are going to show up to the Music Fest, see an empty parking spot and try to grab it.
How do you think we're gonna vote to stop people from parking?
I've got cones. They're gonna have signs on them that say early voting only, early voting parking only. So we're gonna have that. I've also contacted the sheriff's office and asked for some assistance in that. We've marked off and sent to the city, to all of the court. I believe everyone here has received the photos that we marked for 100 feet. There can be no electioneering within 100 feet. That means if someone shows up or someone works at the bank or wants to go in and eat with the seniors, they cannot park if they have a bumper sticker or any type of electioneering on their vehicle. Okay, but a sound amplification device cannot be used within 1,000 feet of a polling location if any electioneering comments are made. You can say go vote, you can't talk red or blue, you can't talk who to vote for, anything like that.
I think also you contacted the city about trash dumpster too.
I did. The community center said that last year they had a problem because the dumpsters, both at the courthouse and over at the community center. I don't think God Burns is here today, but there was a problem with trash after the last music festival because our dumpsters are locked. People just piled trash around the dumpsters and then it became the senior citizens or the people that are working at the community center were picking it up or Guy Burns was picking up the trash.
Open, unlock the trash.
That's up to the court to decide.
Ours are locked, that means whoever's putting it there don't have a key, so I would think that reverts back to the music festival to clean up.
That's up to the court. I'm worried about parking. I'm worried about people speaking, saying things they shouldn't be saying within a polling location, electioneering within my polling location. That building will not be used as a public restroom. That is in the statute that it is not a public restroom. If just because the door is open, you can't come in to vote, you can't come in to, if you can come in to vote, but you can't come in to use the bathroom or walk around, hang out, anything like that. There can be no loitering within 100 feet of that front door. 100 feet is the end of the white line here on the west side of the courthouse. So the whole middle line here is going to be within the zone of loitering. There is no loitering. There's no hanging out. There's no just catching up with someone. It needs to be outside of that perimeter.
On the center parking lot, if you've got 5 or 6 out in front plus the parking lot, why can we not just rope that off?
You can. I'm trying to be,
Gotta talk to the city about anything on the closing off the streets. I mean, that's their.
Well, you really wouldn't be closing off the street, you'd just be closing off the parking.
I think that still is going to fall under the city. So I think we would need to get permission from the city to close that parking. I have emailed the city what you have in front of you. The Secretary of State asked me to meet in a documentable format when I met with people, because this has the potential for litigation and for problems.
Which door are you using for the front door on the senior citizen center?
Well, we've used both. You remember last year, there was the birthday party incident that happened. So we put up partitions and we were going to say, okay, the east door is for the senior citizen community and voting is going to go to the south door. Billy, who is back at the center now, wants us to use both doors because the flow is better. We still have the partitions up. I think we're going to be crowded, especially the first week. And this is a presidential election. The last presidential election we had, 73% of our voters turned out to vote. 1,700 turned out to vote for early voting alone. So it's 1,700 in 12 days. That's a lot of people to come through that building in 12 days. So after the community center finishes with their lunch meal, the partitions will be pushed back so that we can access more tables, so that we can have more space.
Questions for Ms. Anya on this?
What is the resolution that you're going to do?
I did not provide a resolution because if there were specifics that you wanted named in that resolution, I can write it on how you want it. If you direct me how you want the resolution to read, like what you're giving me, are you giving me 5? Are you giving me the total parking lot? Are you giving me the authority to do that? I can submit the resolution to you to sign.
I would say the entire apartment for sure. Don't y'all guys think? I mean,
You mean the south parking lot?
no, probably, yeah.
So it's like 5 spots in the middle here.
I was gonna take 5 spots in the front. We'd have to talk to, I still think we have to talk to the city to close off the parking, that there is no parking there.
But that 100 feet
Can we
goes
get
to
5
the,
on the curb?
Yes. Correct. And so people can park in the middle section. You just can't loiter in the middle section and you can't have a bumper sticker or any type of propaganda on your vehicle. You can't be out there with your A-frame sign hanging around your neck, ringing your bell, telling people who your guy is.
City Park has a sign when it says no loitering, but how do you go to the park and not loiter?
No, that's a question.
How do you enforce it?
I'm just saying, it's got a sign that says no loitering.
I am hoping also that the sheriff's office is going to be by more frequently. And just kind of helping us monitor that and check on that, especially on the Friday and Saturday when the music festival is taking place. And all of the clerks are going to be here Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday.
Okay, commissioners, any other questions on this? We'll make a motion or
make a motion that includes the terms of the resolution. I will have it to you today for y'all to review. And I think if the county attorney can back me on this, if the motion is specific enough on what the resolution is, then they can sign it without it coming back to court, correct?
Yeah, you can sign it anytime. As long as the record reflects what the resolution is. I mean, the law is the same whether we're having a music festival or not. And I suggest more market areas, make it clear that those areas were reserved for voters. And then maybe put up a sign, get some fine, everybody, that they can't. But maybe a sign specifically said, they put it up there, because you all identify the polling location, state law requires no campaigning. I mean, I think you can fix it, it's just more than all places, a couple of signs.
I got signs on the way.
And all of that can be taken some stuff in law. Right?
Yes.
So the.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that actually have to be through the entirety of our.
We are gonna go ahead and put the signs up so people are used to seeing the parking signs. So that if they're driving by and they're in the area, they can see that we've got designated parking places available. So that because also the Music Fest, that's a lot of work that goes into putting that up. The electricity, the lines, the stages, things like that. They don't set that up in one day. I mean, they'll start setting that up. So we want people to start seeing that there's places reserved that is just for voting. So if the Music Fest crew is out here setting up a stage, they see we've already got signs up that say this is reserved for early voting only. We're not just putting these signs up on Friday and Saturday. Correct. It will be.
Okay, so make a motion on this deal?
Now, we're talking, this is in the cities. City council.
The city council asked me to provide them with a resolution that the commissioners court approved of the resolution that we could do this. Yep. They said if commissioners court will sign up on a resolution, then we will too.
You have to have that. Their next meeting is like the third Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, so we can get it to you today.
Okay. Well, let's.
So how does the court restrict anybody parking out there if it's the city council's decision?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
We can,
How do you expect the court to make that decision on parking?
you can put that in your resolution that we have resolved that we are going to use, that we are going to maintain, or maybe you do nothing and no action's enough. That's a county attorney question. That we're not going to allow the music festival to park in our south parking lot. That gives me at least that many parking places. And the two handicap,
Resolution that restricts city to restrict parking.
okay,
The Music Fest doesn't use the south parking lot for parking. We have it for the last 2 years. So the south parking, lot, the last 2 years, we've roped it off, usually starting about 5 o'clock on Friday. Roped it off, and that's where Mr. Beal has his barbecue thing, right, his park right there in front of the tavern. And so people don't park it. So I don't, I'm wondering how where we're gonna put the barbecue and all that. We usually use that area in front of the tavern. It's just kind of like no traffic or anything driving through, just because people, kids and whatever, kind of hanging out there in the yard and out kind of in front. So, I mean,
Then south road closed off.
yeah, now last year, the whole, road was closed off, the whole south parking lot.
Fifth Street was closed.
Was just closed off, meaning it was roped off, like we just took a rope from the corner to the corner of the tavern. So that people coming off the highway wouldn't turn and drive through going, you know, right in front of the tavern, between the tavern and the courthouse, just so you don't have traffic.
Yeah.
You got a lot of people walking out and, you know, back to their cars. So as far as parking for the music fest, I don't know, it doesn't matter to me if people park on the west side or the north side or wherever, around some of the streets, but we usually don't want them parking on the south side. Now, maybe there's a way to, you know, reserve those spots right there on the south side to vote for voters. I don't know.
I think what he's talking about, though, is like 5 or 6 spots along the west side here in front of.
Oh, the west side?
So there is a parking lot just south of the community center,
Oh, okay.
okay? That is the parking lot, and that is, I
Okay.
know people go in there and park. I've seen people in there.
Oh, you're talking about the south side of the community center?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not gonna be a problem at all. Yeah,
And then.
just to keep people out of it. Yeah.
To keep people out of there.
Could be a problem from that, would be somebody getting up on a microphone and making,
Political statement.
political statements before their music or whatever, and y'all could control that.
Yeah, we can control that, but it's never been an issue, I mean, you know, you're always gonna have somebody might make some comment, but I can remember 10 years ago, that was a big worry of mine, we had a festival right before a big presidential election. And we told all the bands, you know, please no political comments, and, you know, of course, they kind of looked at us like, really, you have to ask us that? I mean, but, so we don't, it's not part of our deal, but. Yeah, we can certainly, I know it's a touchy deal, so there's no reason why we can't. Let them know that they were close to the polling center and.
All I'm really concerned about is the south parking lot over here and the 5 in front.
Mr. Williams, work on that motion.
I'd like to make a motion that give the ability for the county clerk to make a resolution to manage the parking restrictions for early voting starting October the 21st at the senior center to reserve parking on county property and 5 spaces out in front, and to place signage up as needed. And this resolution to be, how do I also say this, but to be taken to the city.
Presented to the city for their approval. Sure.
County Attorney Hill. Okay,
I can't repeat it.
I'm not gonna read everything. Commissioner Williams has made a motion regarding the resolution to manage parking for the early voting. Do I hear a second? Commissioner Ford made the second, end of discussion. All those in favor of approving the motion?
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I say
He said signage. He said that. Okay, everything good? Okay, we got a motion and second. All those in favor of approving the motion regarding the parking restrictions for early voting and the resolution, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, you got everything down?
Hey, you can go back and listen to the video after.
I hope so.
I will. I'm gonna write this resolution.
Listen to
But I have her, she knows.
Okay,
Thank y'all very much. If you have any questions or if you're bored and want to help us move stuff around, let me know.
okay, thank you, Sonia. Okay. And Joy's gonna run that down. Number 10, consider an act on Motorola Solutions for the Law Enforcement Center. Sheriff Poole or whoever else, if you want to come up. Well, you're gonna get a tag team this morning, what are gonna get, Commissioner? Oh,
I might need.
lots of folks called.
So you see you've got quite a packet in front of you here. I hope each one of you have that packet that you're looking at there. And basically what that amounts to, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to read that enough to make me pay out of it or not, but what that amounts to is 2 in-car camera systems that we'll be putting in one of the existing vehicles that we have, and an in-car camera system for a vehicle that is on its way. So you're looking at 2 in-car camera systems, and you're looking at 11 body cam systems. And you're looking at the licensing that goes along with those camera systems and the evidence storage, which is associated with those systems. So if you want to look at the dollar amount on the backside, we'll start there. And then we can go through and justify any questions you might have in reference to the amount of money for those systems. So when you look on the back page there, so I'm on page number 6, you see those things that I just talked about there. When you look at the total cost of that, we're at $100,500. Now then, when you look at the breakdown there, what you see on the top line, that $19,700 is the initial first year cost of that program, and then the other 4 is the 5-year total program that this is laid out for. So our initial cost to the sheriff's office for these things that we just talked about is $100,000. We get in on that program at $19,000, and then for the next 4 years, it would be a $20,000 cost to the sheriff's office. So a couple of things that I'm asking for this morning, I'm asking that, first of all, you approve that we build it into this. And second, the sheriff's office will absorb that $19,000 this year, but I'm going to be asking in budget workshops next year that the county bid in for the 20 on the additional cost. So while you're thinking about money, let's talk about this entire $100,000 program. Where we have found ourselves, gentlemen, with our in-car cameras is the systems that we have. The 4RE system is over and done. Those systems are not, they are still repairable, but they're a system that is not, let's see if I'm thinking the right words. Supportable, I guess that would be the right word, as we move forward. So when we say supportable, it's an outdated system technologically compared to what we have now. So the 4RE system that we have, and we still have some of those older systems that we'll hope to phase out as we begin building new vehicles. So the M500 system is what you see on your sheet there. That is a system that is, I'm going to use the word future-proofing as we're learning these new technological terms here this morning. So the M500 is a camera that will be future-proof for, Motorola tells us, 10 years. So anything that we're looking at here this morning is a system that will have some of that future-proofing technology in. So the 4RE systems that we have are old systems. We need to update those systems. The GTAC body cams that we have, that body cam that our deputies wear, that body cam that our jailers wear, that's a new Motorola system. That system also is something that will incorporate that future-proofing technology. So the GTAC system that we have, outdated, not serviceable, all of those kinds of circumstances that we find ourselves in as we are moving forward. We know that technology changes, and that we have at the sheriff's office is at the end of its life. The evidence side of this is licensing and cloud storage. With each one of these camera systems, certainly everything that we capture on those systems is vital to us as evidence. That is included in this estimate as well on those first 5 pages. Any questions that I may answer?
And I guess Motorola has a good, warranty. If anything breaks, they'll cover everything.
Right, so on the body cam side, within 3 years, or after 3 years, I should say, the body cams would be all of them completely replaced with brand new body cams. Right, even with a brand new latest technology kit, right? So if we get the cameras tomorrow, when I go outside and snatch it with a hammer, they'll replace it automatically. So their warranty is 100%, no questions asked, no faults. We get right there. Generally the next day, right? Or within a couple of days.
And, we discussing this last week, with y'all, you're talking about taking this out of the technology fund this year, or if we approve this, first payment would be done after October the 1st?
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll take some months to get all of this in order, and I'm not gonna say where the money, we're gonna draw the money from. I'll just say the sheriff's office is gonna be in for the initial amount. We'll have to look and see even what line we can draw it.
Well, that's what I was looking at. There's not a lot that you can take if we didn't budget it except for the technology.
Exactly. So as we,
Well, they have $65,000 in grant funds they could use
Yeah, the 65 grand.
which is your leftover SB 22 money, which is not being used
Right.
towards salaries.
Yeah, that's.
And young man from Motorola, what's your name, sir? You,
sir.
well, good to meet you. So you're gonna be looking after Mills County if we approve all this, right?
Yes.
Oh, good.
when we're talking about that, let me give a little bit of help here as well. What I bring to you today, what we brought and put in front of you today was not something that we just worked on last week. So we've been working on this for about 6 weeks. We've looked at several different ways in going about this. The initial estimates that we looked at, some of that was an outright purchase. And when we looked at that, it was much more expensive. You don't get the future-proofing upgrades when you do an outright purchase. And actually, an outright purchase was somewhat more expensive than if we get in a 5-year agreement with Motorola. So in that 5-year agreement, Motorola looks at us and that plan and where we're at, and are we doing this in a manner that's going to, there again, future-proof the sheriff's department on the kind of technology that we're using it now. So everything that we looked at here, the M500 cameras, those are important to us. What's the lifespan of that camera? What's the lifespan of the body cam, things of that nature? What's the lifespan of the equipment that it uses to store the evidence? So all of this, everywhere that I look up there, I find the equipment at the end of its lifespan. So I want you to understand that as we're looking at a train car load of money here, we're also looking at something that's going to stand the test of time. Not something that's going to be outdated.
So does our current technology that downloads those cameras, is that gonna have to be updated? That's in place, or is that automatically like?
Goes away. All of this will be cloud storage. There will be no mainframe. Another piece of equipment that suffers a lifespan. Another piece of
Like now, when their cars pull up in the parking lot, it automatically downloads.
downloads to a mainframe inside.
Yeah.
It's
So that
subject
can
to,
still happen, and you don't,
it will download, but that storage will go to the cloud.
I understand that, but do we, if the system that we have now will still take that, or is it gonna have to be changed to do that upload?
It's my understanding that that system will go away. That system that we have now will go away, and they will bring the equipment that it takes for this wireless download to move this evidence to the. So in other words, that takes a mainframe out of the business.
You'd be updating, that'd be updating that part.
Absolutely, but that's part of it. Everything about this was to get this system where it now will be up to current standards and those standards that will be coming.
So this is going to
Current-
be 2 cars.
Say again.
Current standard,
So in other words, what is the latest technology?
oh, that's not current standard. That's the latest technology.
What is the latest? And I understand what you're saying there, Commissioner, I absolutely do. So I should say it this way. The current technology and to future-proof the system so that it will be up to the level of capability in the next 5 years.
So this whole program we're looking at is 5 years down the road. And then basically this box.
I don't think, no. Actually, as we're talking to Motorola, that was one of the questions that I had myself, Commissioner, I understand completely. Are we purchasing a system for 100,000 that we're gonna find obsolete in 5 years? Motorola tells us on the body cams that Sheriff Poole was talking about a while ago, we're gonna look at these things in 3. And if they're not up to the technology level that they need to be, we're going to get them there. So all of this is that future proofing that I was talking about a while ago, so that we don't. Because like I said, everywhere I look up there, everything is outdated. So that's one of the things that was our main concern. If we purchase this thing, are we gonna go along in 5 years and then have something that is a trot line way?
But it sounds to me like, and I'm anti-technology here.
Yes, sir, but we're
But it
forced into that
sounds-
arena.
It sounds to me like if we're gonna look at them in 3 years and they're outdated, in 3 years, you're gonna upgrade them, they're gonna upgrade them, and the cost of this, well, what's gonna happen in the next one?
So Motorola has a plan that you can look at this in 3 years. If you want to update that and you want to continue forward, you like what you've had, then you have the ability to sign up again
After the 5 year period.
after 3. So we look at it in 3, the initial is 5. We can say, all right, we're in for 5. In 3, we can look at it. Do we like the way this is working? If we do, then you can stay in that plan. If you don't, we're out of here. It's not working. We're gonna do something else.
And how many vehicles are?
We're only doing 2 vehicles.
That's
That's what
what
was-
I said, so.
So we're talking about 2 in-car cameras. Is all we're talking about. And
Well, we have
11,
parts in that, so what are we gonna
Our
do?
parts installation.
yeah, so the other vehicles that we have, we'll just continue as we get another vehicle, then we'll put the new M500 in there. The 4RE is still serviceable and still usable. Let me say it that way. It's serviceable and usable. It is an old technology that is going away. Its capability is not near what that is of the M500.
So you're gonna have 2 systems then? Correct, because you gotta manage the old system and then the new system.
Motorola is capable of all of that. So within this plan here, they're capable of taking care of the 4RE system. And they're also very capable of taking care of the M500 system.
And 9 model.
11
11
body cameras. We'll have body cameras for the front patrol side, and we'll have body cameras for the. Yes, sir.
You depend on the car buying him, but it's not all should depend on. Or
Both. So the M500, the in-car system certainly captures everything that happens through the windshield and the rear of the vehicle, right? Body cams on the deputy or jailer that's standing in front of the violator or the inmate. Those work hand in hand. When we're on the roadside, those 2 work together. All of the storage, evidence storage for those cameras, all works on the same system. So you can see how many pieces of evidence that you might have in a particular incident, right? And all of that is stored in the same place in a manner that it is very handy with the trigger. All important things when you look at previous storage capabilities as compared to latest and greatest.
what is the age of what we're using?
You know, what the current situation?
Is it all through Motorola? Or-
Yeah, yes, sir, so you have 2 systems, you have the VTAC system and because you're currently using 2 different platforms, right? This would combine everything into one platform. For the 4REs, body cams and the M500s. Also the current system is the mainframe, right? Kind of discuss this, like currently they're on an island, right? In the cloud storage, you have the entire Motorola support team. And they're the ones help managing, right? So this is kind of.
But Motorola has been doing this for Mills County.
Just the in-car cameras,
Yeah.
right, the body cams are by GTAC and the cameras we are using now are about 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they don't even service them anymore.
The body cam, do we have stuff in the cars?
Yes.
now?
Yes, I do know that, a while back ago, sure Tool will help me on this, but they were having problems with a couple of vehicles not transferring over. That might have been last year or whatever, and Goldsmith and everybody was trying to get that all done, so.
Right, that was a mainframe issue with the
Yeah.
computer building.
So it was relieved that is what they're saying.
Going with cloud.
We get away from, help the sheriff's department get away from depending on the IT piece of it, and help them have their evidence library.
Refresh my memory, we're getting 2 patrol cars.
We got one
We got
already.
one.
We got 2 this year. And they upfitted them about halfway.
Okay.
So they were missing the in-car camera systems and they were missing radio systems. When we received them from the dealership.
Okay.
So we had to put in $6,000 a piece for radios. And then the in-car camera systems as well. But we took one of the old systems out of an old patrol car and put it in a brand new vehicle. And that was a fiasco in itself with cables that were so old that they fell apart and. Yeah, Motorola did. They came in and swapped everything out and installed everything, so. And they'll do the same thing with these. They'll come in and install it, and then there's a training part of it, how to use it, and how to retrieve stuff out of the cloud, and that's a pretty big part of the training. Everybody will see.
And basically after the 19,000 about 20,000 per year is basically their services to keep it going.
We have the full support of Motorola in all of that. If we have a problem with cloud storage, if we have a problem with a camera, if we have a problem with an in-car camera, all of those things, Motorola is spinning there beside. Where the GTAC right now, I don't know that there's anybody we can call about. Oh, that's a camera that we built 10 years ago. We don't have any such thing anymore. Buy a new one.
I think that's where I have a problem with. Might as well just say it all technology. It's too short service.
You are exactly right. And I understand your frustrations with it. I worked in the police for over 20 years. So when I started, computers were starting. So I've seen that, what it costs entities to do that. I've also seen that if you don't do it in the right manner. And that was one of the things that we looked at here when we talked to Motorola. One of the questions that we asked is, what are we going to get a complete system here? Because when we think about a camera and who holds the storage or what computer holds the evidence storage, the film and things of that nature, or the recording, I should say. And the debacle that we're in right now is those are all just pieces. You heard me say it a while ago, island. So the GTAC system is an island over there that now is underwater. So in this Motorola system, that was one of the things that we were very specific about. Is there going to be somebody there to help us with it when it has a problem? And what kind of shape are we going to be in 5 or 10 years down the road?
And then
Yes.
And this is very important for evidence storage.
When we think of that, and Michael Morton, y'all know what Michael Morton is? That was that law that we had in Texas several years ago, that case law that says the law enforcement entity is responsible for every single piece of evidence that takes place in any criminal event. And a large part of that is the camera footage that we have from the cars and from the body cam. If we have a piece of that that we can't retrieve for whatever reason, our technology wasn't any good, you know what happens to our case? Gone. So that is the other most important part of this was, are we going to have an evidence gathering place? And are we going to be able to get to that without any problems? If we have a mainframe on the floor, we store that evidence on the mainframe, we get a lightning strike. What happened to our evidence?
it is the cloud, we hear that a bunch. It is untouchable.
The fee is compliant.
Siege is compliant. Siege is,
So in other words, when they explained this to us the other day, that was one of the questions that I asked, Dale. It's funny how you and I think alike. Scary game. Well, because we're thinking about, are we always gonna be able to get this, right? So one of the questions we ask, if we have that circumstance of crowd strike or whatever it was, we had a couple of months ago, and nobody could get on their computer and all that, was one of the first questions that asked, what's going to happen when this cloud strike thing happens? Office 365 was the other one. And they said that place is stored in 2 different places. That information is stored in 2 different places. So when we say CJIS compliant, those are the folks that look over all the criminal records. So that's a very high standard to be CJIS compliant. So that stuff is stored in 2 different mainframes. If this one goes down for whatever reason, it's over here.
I got 2 things, I got 2 things I'd like to comment on.
Go for it, County
As
Attorney.
long as I still got a seat here, I'll keep commenting. Number one, and I didn't hear all the numbers, and I apologize if I'm not on the right track on this deal. But number one, I just want to remind everybody of the $50,000 threshold. And you can't piecemeal a project to get under the 50,000. You can't buy $100,000 piece of equipment and say, well, we're gonna pay it over 5 years, so it's just $20,000 each budget cycle. You can't do that. If the whole project is 100,000 and you're over the 50,000 threshold, then you gotta put it up for public bids. I didn't hear your numbers, and I don't know exactly what your deal is. If the deal is, on the other hand, if you say, well, we're gonna buy this year, and we're gonna buy this next year, and they're kind of related, but they're not really dependent on each other. We can do this without doing that. Then you're okay if it's under 50,000. Y'all all know that. So I'm just gonna remind you of that. Second thing I want to say is a practical matter, and I don't know if this would help or not. But you know my chief assistant down there, and I hear a lot of grumbling from her from time to time. But one of the things that she complains about is if we have something out here on the road and there ends up being 4 or 5 units that respond to that, everybody involved has a body camera, and the units all have dash cams, and all of those are recording all at the same time. And that is building up a lot of information, a lot of evidence that has to be stored. And they gotta keep up with all of that. And of course, we have to, when we have a criminal case going on, we have to provide all that information to the defense counsel. And it involves, you know, who down there downloading all of that and copying it on CDs and sending it to the defense counsel, and that's really cumbersome and difficult to do. And I know it's difficult for y'all to do, or just keeping up with the data. And I'm hopeful that this will help that to some extent. So
I can speak to that for just if you want to take a few minutes to do that.
Yeah.
So where we're used to downloading this onto thumb drives or discs or something of that nature, it's my understanding that now this can all be assembled and you send a link. So there's no having somebody to sit down and gather all of this in one place and burn it onto a CD. It's now a gathering of this evidence, and then you send that person in Discovery or whatever that happens to be, a link to where you've assembled this on the cloud now. And we don't have to mess with thumb drives and CDs and things of that nature. All of this happens on the computer.
So let me say, from a prosecutor's standpoint, I think what they're talking about is good. I think this would be a good improvement, a good thing to do. The numbers, you know, whatever they are, I don't know, we don't deal with that. I also want to say that if you're under, if you're under the $50,000 threshold and your whatever it is that you're doing is budgeted in your budget already, department heads have a lot of discretion on how to spend that money. So I'm gonna throw that out too. And having said all that.
I was exactly thinking what you were thinking, that you couldn't piecemeal that. So that's where I was gonna ask you that question. I'm glad you answered that already, so.
But so basically it is above the 50,000,
Yes.
so it's gonna have to be a bid price.
Whatever it is you're doing is costing over $50,000, you gotta put it out for bids.
We can go through tips.
Yeah.
Y'all remember the Tips Association? Motorola?
We're on the DIR and, well,
You're not on tips or buy board, or buy any buy boards.
I think we're on, and we should be on 5 board HTAC.
Should be bottoming up.
Whatever company signed up.
It's 5 board, HTAC, DIR, and there's a couple others that I'm not, I can't tell you exactly off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of money in your account to do what you want to do for this year or whatever, but I was kind of agreeing with the county attorney, you can't piecemeal it together without a bid. So we either gotta do an RFP or you can reach out to one of the buy boards and go and get a buy board. So,
Yes. Yeah, I agree, Commissioner Williams. What we gonna do is what's right, and we just have to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Operator.
I'm not against it at
Yeah.
all, it is the.
It's just the statutes we have to follow for
Yeah.
procurement and then it also,
We'll get.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just following through for things that will affect us on an audit.
Yeah, we just need to make sure on the procurement.
And they are looking at raising the 50 to 100, but it has not.
Yeah.
Safety's not.
Of course,
It's 50,000.
they voted on it last legislature, and it failed, but.
If you want, just went through that this past week, that came about in 2007. Well, now the reason they hadn't raised it is now they're saying what used to be viable for 50,000 is now 77,000. So they're trying to raise it in legislature, the work bid process is 100,000. They're still hung with the 50.
I say that we table this
Yes.
and see if we can go look at the buy boards or something and put it on the next agenda, or we can have a call.
I think that's what I was gonna suggest, Commissioner Williams. Bring it back up in our next Commissioners Court meeting, whatever date it is, and check out the procurement process.
I make a motion that we table the Motorola Solutions contract at this moment to look at procurement.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to table the Motorola Solutions. I'll second that. Any other discussion or comments?
So can we look to you to make sure that we're doing this in accordance with procedure? As far as bids and things of that nature?
Yes, to an extent. Jackie can help us with this too.
Okay.
Just to make sure we get that in order.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Williams. I second the motion to table this Motorola Solutions. All those in favor of tabling the Motorola Solutions till next Commissioner Court meeting, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Gentlemen, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll get back in touch with you. Moving on, number 11, consider an act on proclamation of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I think this lady's here today. I'll read this proclamation for Mills County. Whereas domestic violence potentially affects every person in Mills County, Texas, either as a victim or survivor of domestic violence, or as a family member, significant other, friend, neighbor, or coworker. And whereas we're working to provide services and assistance to domestic violence survivors, responding to emergency calls and criminal justice proceedings. And whereas the month of October, Texas Council of Family Violence will be intensifying efforts to promote public understanding of family violence and increase sensitivity to victims of families violence, emphasizing the need for citizen involvement and efforts to reduce family violence through public education and change in public attitudes. And now, therefore, the Commissioners Court of Mills County, Texas does hereby designate October 2024 as Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention Month in Mills County, Texas, and urge the appropriate recognition whereof. It says, witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of Mills County to be affixed on October the 1st, 2024. I will sign this as county judge, and I will make a motion that we declare October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I made a motion, Robert Heads second. All those in favor of this proclamation of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. I'll sign that. Ladies, y'all need to say anything about this? We appreciate all the work. We got some great volunteers to work on this program, and y'all did a great job, so thank you for your service. You're welcome.
Do they want a picture?
You want that?
They want a picture.
Well, we can do it later about that. Is that okay, or? Or we're gonna go to, we'll see, just a little bit, I'll get back to this, okay? Thanks. Hang loose. Number 12, consider an act on bids for materials for Mills County Precinct Road System. Commissioner Williams, you got some info for us, I think?
Well, yeah, you have 2 sheets I put on your desk in front of you, that, we need to kind of go over. These are updated from last year. We'll do, what's the? Materials. And so, it's,
First one, materials, second, Mr. Field.
Mills County is accepting bids for aggregate for county roads. We need to do this every year and send this out, whether they bid on it or not. Some things that if you can look, I don't have a color printer, but I highlighted about the second paragraph down that says pit run may be bid at stockpile price or price of material to be dug and processed by county employees. I didn't know if y'all wanted to change that. And then the dates also are down toward the bottom, that Mills County Judge's Office, and then the phone number, and then we've got to put, it says Jackie Brooks there, so we need to know what change that needs to be made. And then the date is, we can change the dates. I just picked October the 31st. And then we open the bids on the 12th of November. That meets the statutory requirements of the posting and everything in that timeline.
And how long does it need to be on the website all year?
It stays on the website. It's the way I understand TAC. It just stays on the website from now on.
Okay.
Until you get, you have your own, every year it stays on there. Now you can take it down, but you have to be able to show proof of it. And so that means we go to the clerk's office. TAC recommends that it just stays on your website, and everybody around us have their websites just have a bid section on their website. So
Okay.
it's not that big a deal just to leave it up. I mean, we've only got last year's and we did.
Okay.
Other TAC recommendations.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to take that, if we want to discuss that pit run or not, y'all read that and how you want to say it.
I would like to discuss it, because I know basically you're talking about what y'all. But anybody that has fleas, you can say, yeah, I'll sell it for $30 a yard, but there might not be access. And in fact,
Right.
Actually, I don't know if we can count on, but it could very well possible. Then you kind of have to further everything to it for access. Not the case in where, not the case in Danielsville, but it could be somebody.
Yeah, I haven't read his threshold either too, so, but yes, you're correct.
Maybe price of materials dug and be processed by county employees. Depending on location, I don't.
Yeah.
Go think down there.
Somewhere normal we did last year, but I mean. We'll see if anybody bids on it.
Well, they probably won't bid on it, but our situation for material is fixing to change dramatically. And it could open some old farmer or rancher's eye. I don't know if it will or not. Hey, I got this mountain back up here that, but it might be 3 miles off. I actually turned some down for free because of location to where the material was at.
Too far.
It is way back in the pasture.
Yeah.
But that could be all covered.
Or it's too hard to gain, dig it.
Well, this is dug, but whenever I drove that road back down through the pasture and down 2 or 3 hills and through valleys, I'm like, this is not even acceptable.
Isn't that something that's left up to each individual, Odell, just like you said, that you don't recommend driving out to that pit, and you shouldn't. That's kind of individual.
Well, then also that's just
Preference, isn't it?
determining their bids. It's not saying you're accepting that bid for that person, and that may be in your requirement when you accept the bids. You see what I'm saying? If it's 3 miles off the road, you may not want that.
Yeah, but basically, from the way I think it is in fuel, I know we've had it every year, but basically what we're fixing to start out.
And that's why we're making sure that this is done, and that's what Summer wants. Now, some recommendations are that we do this more than once a year because of the FEMA situation, as we put it out.
I think if we put it out like this and nobody bids or you do not approve a bid, then I have the right to go out on. David said me, because I'm gonna be the person handling the money, go and ask for bids for 30 to 60 days, however long y'all wanna say, and I can go to whatever 3 companies you tell me to and ask them for a 60-day bid, a locked-in price. What can you provide us? And we can do it that way. Or we can continue on the way that we've continued to do it. Y'all all decide where you get it, but this covers our audit issues plus our FEMA issues that we went out and did.
We're in a situation now, in summer is just like with Dale and I on same old ironworks. We had to pay $10 and somebody else is paying $9.
I think that one because.
He didn't turn a bid on.
Yeah, but he didn't turn a bid in either.
No, nobody. You know, we suggested for bids, but we can do it now since we didn't get any bids,
Right.
so Jason.
But if you wanna make it if you wanna get down to it, make it more competitive, then I can go out and ask these people for bids every 30 to 60 days and make them compete against each other. There's no competition right now. We can do it however you wanna do it when we get down to it.
Yeah.
This is just the first step, getting it out, making sure we put it in the paper for as long as we need to meet the requirements and meeting our requirements for the audit. That's the main thing. And then FEMA will also ask us, what's your procurement for these materials? And we'll go, oh, well, we did this bid. So we're just kind of checking off the policy parts.
Okay, what happens in a situation, just like you were talking about, getting free material without bids? That throws a whole monkey wrench in this whole deal. If we do this on a bid process, and we are bidding, that's what we're trying to do. But if you have a landowner, local landowners willing to give you material, we won't be able to accept it unless we get a bid from them.
I don't think that's true. I mean, I think you can't.
Not if it's free.
Yeah, you can't bid on free material. I mean,
I
we're
understand.
gonna when we turn it into FEMA, we're gonna put a price on it, and that's gonna be based on what other material we're purchasing at the time.
But what happens if you have a individual from a quarry come, you made me bid on this? And yet knowing that we're getting free material from a landowner that.
I don't think that keeps you from getting free material. I mean, you can get a bid and not accept it because it's $15 a cubic yard and you know you can get it for 10 somewhere else. But just because you get a bid doesn't mean you have to accept it if it's a ridiculous bid. We're covering policy part right now. And then in November, we'll have to actually look at the bids and decide, are we gonna go with one? Are we gonna do a list of 3? How do we want to handle that based on the information we get? Because I can't tell you what we're gonna get yet. The best part may be not getting anything at all, and then you can go out and make them compete against each other.
Okay, what happens in a situation if we submit this and this year not receive another bid? Jason, how does that work?
We've done our due diligence.
Yeah, we've done the state says as long as it's posted.
Yes.
We've done what we're supposed to do. Go back to work. That's what we do.
So you're good with those dates? Okay, what do we want to do for the email that we had previous? Do we want to put?
Probably need to change it to Annette.Watson.
Okay, that's what. Has she got an email?
I sent a request last week for.
I haven't received her paperwork, so there's supposed to be,
Okay.
a chain of events that happens in order for somebody to get an email. I haven't been able to confirm her social, so I don't know where we're at in that process.
And I sent a work order to go since last week to add her to the email. I haven't heard anything since.
Can we do just the judge's office?
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you have just a generic judge or is your
I
judge?
got county judge and or the Jed Don Johnson,
Let's do the
Bill
county.
County.
Let's do the county. Is it spelled out county?
yeah, county judge is the old one, yeah.
That give the email to like do this, something that may become
Relevant.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, so somebody want to make a motion on road system one, and then we'll go to fuel.
Somebody wanna make a motion on that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, consider or act on bids for materials through the Mills County Precinct Road System.
Okay, motion been made by, I'll second that motion. So we got a motion and second for the bid materials for the Mills County Precinct Road System. Commissioner Park made a motion, I made a second in the discussion. All those in favor of approving that bid material motion, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. And number 13, it's very similar.
And you can see you have that bid in front of you again. That's the updated. The one that question I have for summer is that second bullet point there. Is up to 12 months starting on this bid. We could change that and do 6 months. I think that's what scares a lot of the fuel people off is to bid on
I would.
fuel for 12 months. I mean, that's a huge. Well, I don't think we got anybody to bid on it last time, but
I mean, if
But-
it changes, hopefully it's not gonna change dramatically in 3 months, but.
but we've got to redo it every 3 months. We do that. You understand that?
So,
It Sorry, if that's the way you wanna go, I mean, to me, when nobody bids on this the first time, then it gives me the freedom to do it whenever I want to.
Okay, so
I can do it once a month. I can do it every 2 months, I can do it every 3 months, if y'all see it going up.
What if
What
we have a situation when, if we have one bid? And we have the right to reject that one.
Yes, you
bid, is
do.
that
Yeah,
correct?
it's at the bottom of all of them that we have. the right to accept.
Yes, I see that, but what I'm saying, though, how do we know we can reject that bid if that's the only bid we have?
I would
Well-
say that-
And we're not getting any other, and say we get a company out of Austin or San Antonio that runs a transport truck down here, will furnish us tanks for our precincts, which I've been contacted about that already. And I told them you can bid on it.
Here's two ways I see that going. First, they give us a really great price and it's a really good deal and they can match it, the situation you're talking about. B, they have to overbid the cost of fuel, and at that time you'll go, no, that's crazy. That's not even the market rate. We're not doing that, and you say no. So meaning 12 months is strategic because you kind of are hoping nobody bids, but if you do, somebody's gonna be very competitive, in my opinion. And they're gonna be able to meet the requirements in this bid, because they have to be able to deliver. And if in there, it's just a ridiculous transport charge, then you say no.
Right, that's the reason I didn't respond to them, is simple fact, we're doing it through road and bridge. I don't have the right as a precinct commissioner to accept a bid.
Keep up with your,
But that's what I'm saying, if it go, it's through road and bridge.
But you can pretty well keep up with your fuel price by what.
Well, they charge, but they charge me more and they charge you more or less. It depends on what your fuel tanks will hold.
We have to buy 1,000 gallons.
Well, that's what I try to do on my diesel. That's all my tank will hold, 1,000 gallons. But my gasoline will not hold that.
Mine don't either, but it's combined fuel.
Yeah, mine.
So you're, as long as you're buying 1,000 gallons, it can be 700 diesel and 300 gas. Or that's what they've always done to me. But, yeah, like I said, you can pretty well know what your. If your bulk fuel price gets higher than what you're paying down there at the store, you need to start.
So I know.
I think right now we need to focus on that we're trying to cover the statutory procurement part.
I
And then
understand.
when we get the bids in, then we'll discuss
I understand.
our actual information and how we handle that from there.
Because I'm in the same situation now. We're trying to, and what you're suggested to me is run an ad over here in the paper for a maintainer that a second hand that I can't buy through the buy board whatsoever. And if I spend over $50,000, then I have to advertise for it or accept a bid for it. Nobody will bid on the second hand.
Little bitty community where nobody's gonna pop up and say, hey, I have that for this much, and then you can go get it however you would like it to.
Spend it what I want. That's what I'm saying.
If you've advertised it following the bidding process, then you've done all you can do, and then from then on, you are free to do what you want to do.
But
Okay, other questions on bids for fuel?
I'll make a motion that we approve our Gold Mills County precinct road system go out for fuel bid.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve the fuel bids for Mills County Precinct Road System, second by Commissioner Head. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the fuel bids for Mills County Precinct Road System, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 14, consider an act on road and bridge safety voucher from TAC for $707.39. Commissioner Williams, I think you handled this last year.
Yeah, and I've already been looking at it this year, and they went to a new purchasing type thing. It was Granger, now it's something else. And so there's not a ton of stuff out there that we can get. You know, last year we got some jackets and some different things, safety stuff, so not a lot out there. I mean, and some of the high dollars, some of the stuff is like you're only gonna get 2 or 3 things, so we're gonna try. I'm trying to piecemeal it right now.
Okay.
We're trying to get it, and I'll try to get it done in the next, 10 days.
Well, it's gonna be, told me it's gonna be done by September 30th. And these vouchers, of course, as you know, any safety items, shirts, gloves, glasses, safety belts, whatever.
I did not know September 30th.
Here, I'll give you, if you want me to short, there's that email I got from them.
Well, I never got the email. I just get
Okay,
Jackie just sends me the link so I can get online and
Okay.
try to help purchase it.
well, if you need any help from me, let me know. So Commissioner, do y'all know what kind of safety things you want, or let Commissioner Williams work on that, or what?
Jason's always done a good job.
Yeah, okay.
Let him
Okay,
deal with this.
okay. Sounds good.
$700 is not much, guys.
No, not-
They have orange cones that you can buy for $25 a piece. We bought them at Live Oak for $2 a piece. So y'all can see the difference. It's just like, ooh. Anyway.
Well, we got this consider an act. I'll make a motion to let Commissioner Williams handle this with the safety equipment.
Second it?
Now I got a motion made, second by Commissioner Rod. All those in favor, let Commissioner Williams handle the safety vouchers from TAC, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 15, consider an act on Hoof and Horn subdivision preliminary plat, County Attorney Hale.
Yeah, because of the threat of litigation, it's my recommendation that we go into executive session and talk about this.
I make a motion that we go into executive session to talk about subdivision preliminary plat.
Motion been made by Commissioner Williams on executive session, and second by, Commissioner Head. All those in favor of recess and go into executive session, say aye. Aye. The time is 10:25. We'll be in executive session till further notice. Good stuff. Awesome. I wasn't gonna use any expletives, I don't think, that.
I call Joy.
Thank you.
Need to go to the restroom.
Oh, wait, what, a few minutes?
Okay, we're done. Now, here's, we just gotta.
Okay, let's join it up here.
On her way.
Summer, coming this summer.
Summer's probably working on.
Yeah,
She's trying to get punishment.
so Gerald, was it crowded down there? A little hot too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Stevie, or what me,
Bowling Green looked pretty good. And well, then we got real conservative too.
I wouldn't do it for him.
Just got your cup of coffee.
PM53?
We hadn't started yet.
I didn't think so.
We're still waiting for. some folks to see what they do.
Should be able to proclamation we don't sign. That's all, you put it back here.
It's already headed down that way.
Security judge signs that one.
Yeah.
We don't sign, that's all.
No. Do we need some here? No. Yeah, okay, well, let's go and get started here, hang on. Let me unmute. Jackie, I'm trying to see where I unmute. Oh, sorry, we did, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Okay.
Much live.
Okay, we're live. Okay. The time is now 10:55 a.m. We are now back in session for Commissioners Court. And number 15 is what we've been on, considering acting Hoop and Horn subdivision preliminary plat. Commissioner Wright, did you?
I make a motion, we table this and form a committee to meet with Dale, our county attorney, and our county judge, meet with the Hoop and Horns. Or Don King, our surveyor.
Okay. Motion's been made to table the Hoop and Horn subdivision plat and form a committee.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor say what?
How's that reading?
How's that reading?
Because I don't think that meeting we're gonna have.
It's not a committee for me.
It's just an informal meeting. That is correct, informal meeting.
Yeah.
People I've been in one time.
For consultation with our.
It should.
About Hoop and Horns. Yeah. Not Hoop and Horns, but about Hoop and Horns.
And we'll get Joy to reread, get Joy to reread that right quick, so.
Yeah, go ahead and reread it, Joy, if you can.
Motion made by Mike Wright to table this
Hoop and Horns.
open farm subdivision to form a committee.
Let's don't have a committee.
No, informal meeting.
With our.
Yes.
Discussion with the server.
Okay.
I'll second that
Okay,
correction.
motion been made by Commissioner Wright. You got everything correct, Joy? Second's been made by Commissioner Williams. Any other discussion? All those in favor of tabling the Hoop and Horns plat for another date, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 16, Commissioners' requests and reports, Commissioner Mike Wright, go ahead, sir.
We've been trying to cut some brush and stuff. We run a tire. Our tire was run last year. I put a boot in it and we had to have it replaced. Y'all saw it on our accounts payable. Robert and I are going half and half. And also the water pump went out on the brush cutter. So we're in the process. We took it into John Deere house. We're gonna work on it. We did drive out FEMA with some of the roads and kind of decide what we were gonna do with them. Some of them we're gonna have to upgrade on our 10 horns. Also, the judge contacted me, and Jason, this is in your precinct, but he contacted me about, Mr. Black had contacted his office about, a signage been down out here on 16 Leighton Black Road, and I got that signage ordered. So it's what it is. It has Leighton Black Leighton Black Lane.
That's a text dot.
Well, I called
But they-
the Scott, they said they would not pay to put it back up. I talked to Carlos.
Yes.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
They said they didn't start with and they won't do it now.
And I think we need to, he brought in a lot of money as our state house.
Well, I understand that, but that's weird, because we can't do anything on text dots right away at all without their
That's-
permission, and so now why are we buying their sign?
We're buying the Leighton Black, the name of the
I know,
road. But that's, I know, that's what they.
Are we gonna have to buy, so that makes me question, are we gonna have to buy, if somebody hits that sign that says the trooper died out here on, and we had to buy that sign to begin with?
We'll have to replace it. If we want to replace it, we have to do it. That is correct. With Text Dot, Text Dot will install them, but they will not furnish the sign. So anyway, I got it ordered out here at S&S.
Well, in the past, the text dot just sent us the bill for the sign, and they took all the responsibility, so I don't know why they wouldn't even build the sign.
Yeah, they won't do it now. They said,
Yeah.
said no.
Okay.
But anyway, I've
Thank
got,
you for doing that.
yeah, I've got the sign, or you were gone last week and he asked me and I told him it was in your precinct, but I wouldn't mind going out there and trying to get one ordered. So we can go ahead and have it put up. Also, he requested, Mr. Black also requested too, a private sign for a private road because it was faded out. And I told him we didn't do that to hit, it was his private road going up to his house. So
Yeah,
he's
he'd
gonna,
have to go S&S for that individual.
yeah, he's gonna take care of that himself. And anyway, that's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Head?
We worked up at the sheriff's department, got, part of the concrete poured this week or last week. We pushed a landowner allowed us to, landowner moved the fence for us and allowed us to, push over my, I don't know, I'm gonna say 600-year-old burrow into this pasture that fell down due to the storm. The burrow was probably 6.5 foot in diameter. Well, it was the biggest tree I ever seen, burrow tree. We got that done and we tried to do some hauling. Murphy's Law kind of is on the hauling, but, so that's just the way it went. But other than that, we had a pretty good week and got some good rain.
Yeah, hope it keeps coming. Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Commissioner Parton, go ahead, sir.
No, had the guys working over my Brady on Town Road one part of the day and trying to get a section tile back in there, and some discrepancy with not the landowner, but maybe the landowner's wife. And hopefully get a third back in there, but we ran into a dirt issue toward the end of the week that stops us. And basically, I went off to some schooling, felt like it was very informative. Long drive, so we're back, got a good rain. Patching some truck tires and stuff and get ready to roll again as soon as it dries up.
Okay. Commissioner Williams?
Yeah, we've got a lot of roads bladed, when the rain started, I guess you could say, after the last commissioner's court, we were able to get most of the roads out. On the west end of the county, we didn't hit all of Big Valley, but doing pretty good on that. A report on the rock crusher. The rock crusher had the actual hydraulic body broke off on the side. Anyway, it's hard to explain what it is, but that part to get a new one at cost is right around $12,000 just for the part at cost. Kirby Moore he asked if we could take it to Sides and see if Sean Sides could fix it. And so I did take it to Sean's side. Sean's going to try to fix it, and so hopefully we can get it done at a lot cheaper price than that. If y'all remember that on our road and bridge repairs and supplies, it's only at 10,000. So that part would have to be, would have to come to this court to make that approval. And until Sean finishes that, I mean, it won't take but a day to get it back together once he gets it repaired. And, again, I was gone last week and he hadn't called and said that it's done or fixed. I don't know if anybody went by there and saw that he had it. Yeah, so, the haul trailer, you know, I talked about it before, getting new boards put on the haul trailer for that. I have talked to the guy in, that does it in, Santa Ana. And he said we don't have to bring it up there. We sent him the dimensions and all that we wanted. He was, when he gets it done, he'll cut, he said it could be up to 6 weeks before. So to go ahead and get him that dimensions and all that. So that's already been done. I did that the very next day after the last court. And so hopefully, you know, that'll get done in next 6 weeks maybe. Or at least get the boards. Once we get the boards, we'll go pick up the boards and then we put them down. He doesn't put them down. So that's quite a detailed in itself. Cause you gotta pre-drill the holes to do the work anyway, but we'll do that. We'll all get together and do something like that. Let's see here. I have a meeting this week in Belton on Thursday, so I'll be gone most of the day there. But other than that, everything seems to be going pretty good. And the only other thing is in our minutes today, we were supposed to discuss the facilities report that wasn't. in there.
This is next month, will be the first next, yeah. Consider it.
Next.
Yeah, next. Yeah.
Right, the minutes said that it would be in this meeting, so I'm just questioning.
Guy was out, he also was out about 8 days this week, 9 days for batteries and stuff.
Okay.
For his
So
pacemaker.
we need to make sure, since we've said that and approved the minutes, we need to make sure that's in the minutes.
Okay. All right, so it's
Yeah.
number 17, county judge's report. You can still burn in Mills County. You want to listen via YouTube, be careful, call the sheriff's department. Hope it keeps raining. And the other news I have, Annette Watson officially starts to work as court coordinator at my judge's office Wednesday. And she is shadowing today, listening in, learning all the tools of the trade. So thanks to Jackie again for helping us out. I know we'll have a lot more questions for you, Jackie. So thanks for everything. And that's all I got. Number 18, Commissioner Wright.
Before I make a motion to adjourn, I have a deal about a road hand too. The situation with it, I'm losing one of my road hands. Just y'all heard the sheriff comment about cost. He doubled his salary, so he's leaving the end of this month. So before he leaves, I'll try to get it in the paper. I had the judge put a deal in the paper about
Last week, yeah, so.
yes, but anyway, I won't mention any names, but I hate to lose him. It's good individual.
The new one?
Yes,
This one, yeah.
make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made, second. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Everybody have a good day. Gerald, thank you.